So,
with the Final Four, brother.
man, we have reached the PAU Final Four. Shout out to everybody who checked out the first 2 episodes. If you haven't, we did our own rendition of a tournament from each region of America, try to determine what the number 1 album would be. So, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and go through these last 4, man. The East region champion was Nas with Illmatic.
Classic album.
That's going up against Jeezy, TM 101, which was the South region champion.
Another classic.
Then on the other side of the bracket, we got the North/Midwest champion with Kanye West, My Black Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Beautiful.
Going up against
Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Man, Black Beautiful. Look, the B can be whatever you want it to be, stand for, all right?
Okay.
My bitch ass,
All right.
dirty,
All right.
twisted fantasy,
All right.
whatever. They're going up against the West Coast champion and The Chronic by Dr. Dre. So those are the final 4 albums left, man. We're going to start off
It's tough.
with the East versus the South. Nas Illmatic versus TM 101. What's up?
Who want to take this one?
I mean, it's easy for me. I'm going Illmatic. Easy for me.
I'm going Illmatic. as
Any
well.
insight on those picks? Or
I mean, y'all know I ain't no trap dude, so.
okay.
I mean, like I said before, why I picked it against Blueprint. It's a flawless album. That shit is flawless. Like from 1 to 10, it's 1 is the intro, so from 2 to 10, flawless.
Yeah.
What you think about, you don't think TM 101 is flawless?
Nah, it ain't flawless.
Okay,
It ain't flawless, nah.
I got you.
Does the amount of tracks make a difference? Because Nas has 9. How many tracks on TM 101? Like 16.
Yeah, it's up in the
So
high
the
teens.
fact that Nas pretty much made every song perfect. And like you said, Jeezy has some throwaways on that joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that plays a part.
That's to his detriment that he put a
Okay.
couple.
He didn't have too many throwaways.
Nah, he ain't have a. Don't. I ain't gonna say. He might not have no throwaways.
And Nas is kind of, the album kind of is, don't get me wrong, it is a flawless album. The only detriment to the album is it's kind of one bag the whole way versus, you know what I mean, TM 101,
That's one bag the whole way.
Illmatic.
I said Jeezy is too though.
Oh, you talking Sonics?
Sonically. I would beg to differ a little bit.
Sonically, nah, I don't think
would
so.
beg
Not
to differ.
Illmatic.
Because you got to keep in mind, Nas was the first.
To get all star producers.
Yeah, he had
Yeah.
one from Q-Tip, one from Primo, one from
To like the naked ear,
Know what
it
I'm
might
saying?
sound the same because it's all
Large
boom bap,
Professor.
baby, to a lot of
I'm not
people.
saying they all sound the same. I said it's kind of the
Pete
same,
Rock.
same realm.
I disagree. Like DJ Premier, his song don't sound like One Love don't sound like Nas is like. I mean not Nas is like, but what's the Halftime?
Okay.
Like they don't sound the same.
Yeah. Or The World Is Yours. That got a different sound compared to It Ain't Hard to Tell.
Right. That's what I was trying to think. It ain't hard to tell.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think sonically, definitely. I thought you was talking more like the content. I could agree with that, but that go the same for Jeezy shit too, though.
Yeah, right. I would also give the nod to Illmatic. I know a couple of pods ago you said that Chingy had one of the worst lines ever. Jeezy also had one of the worst lines on Thug Motivation. Patty cake, microwave.
Nah, that's hard. Son. Oh my.
Patty cake, microwave.
But we know what the line
know
is
what it
referring.
means.
Yeah.
Shit.
But
Chingy joint ain't nah. You can't compare that to
Yeah, that
What
joint
you
ain't as
got
bad
for-
as pork chop. Yeah, yeah, pork chop was worse, bro. For sure.
You got for a pork chop, it gotta be top 3 worst lines of hip hop ever.
so what you think, Trey?
My pick Nas, man. That's. I mean, I love the South. Love what that album did for the culture. But I can't pick against Illmatic, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got 4 for Illmatic.
I think J. Cole. We said this last episode, bro. What did J. Cole say about Nas? I mean, we be stupid as hell to pick against Illmatic, bro.
He said Nas wrote the Bible.
Yeah, man. Hey.
I guess it's unanimous, man, because
Which you was gonna go
even
with?
if I was going with Jeezy, which I'm not, I would vote it. But no, I agree. Nas Illmatic, it's apples and oranges. Not taking away nothing from Jeezy, TM 101. great album, classic album for sure. But Nas, Illmatic is just a different realm, man. Like if you haven't listened to that album, please go check it out, man. You're doing yourself a disservice.
Yes, sir.
Best bodies of work in music, period.
Indeed. So Illmatic is the first one in the national championship, so to speak. Next matchup, we got the Midwest/North champion, Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, going up against
There you go.
Dr. Dre, The Chronic, representing the West Coast.
Another easy one for me. I'm going Chronic. It's easy for me.
Yeah, I'm going with Chronic too, bro. I'm human. It's okay to, regret and go back and change things. So,
What you regret, son?
I regret picking,
you say
some
last
things
episode?
that I picked, some albums that I picked for that.
On the last episode.
Yeah, so I stand on what I said about what the Bone Thugs album meant and what it did. But I think Graduation shifted a little bit harder than that. Graduation honestly should be in the spot that this album is in. I think Graduation should be in the Final Four over My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I'd have picked Chronic over that one too.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I'm definitely picking. Am I picking right now?
Go- yeah, please.
Yeah, the Chronic, bro. I'm picking the Chronic.
Philip.
I'm going with
Petersburg Phil.
I'm going with the Chronic as well, man. Anytime it's a nice day outside, the Chronic getting played. Dr. Dre, the windows down. The Chronic, Let Me Ride is getting played. Know what I mean? So I'm going with the Chronic.
Feel that.
What's got Ivy? Doug?
Majority rules at this point.
I still want to hear what y'all
Let me
pick.
see. I would say the Chronic, just because
You
it
pick
has-
Chronic for real with Kanye?
Yeah, for real. I mean, I listen to Kanye album more, like right now, but I think the amount of classics that is on the Chronic
Just always.
outweigh
That's a good point.
Kanye.
Yeah. I feel it.
Again, another unanimous decision. The Chronic.
Let's go.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, great album. You actually got a point, Trey, with the Graduation though. That's I see why you say that. So that makes a lot of sense. But going with what we choosing, Dre's The Chronic changed the sound of music, especially West Coast hip hop, West Coast rap. It gave it that signature G-Funk was introduced. It's just so much that was attached to that album in that time period. You know what I'm saying? Death Row was launched. So yes, Dre, The Chronic is definitely deserving to take this one against Mr. West.
Just to piggyback on your Graduation take, I do think My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, from top to bottom, is a better album than Graduation. Though. Graduation definitely has a couple skippers. Like I'm skipping Drunken Hot Girls.
I knew you was gonna.
I'm skipping that too. I'm skipping that too.
I might even skip. I skip Barry Bonds too.
Wait a minute, Barry.
I skip Barry Bonds.
Wayne
Okay.
blacked out on that joint.
Okay.
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 In all fairness, my brother, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy got some skippers for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I think they neck and neck as far as the skipper spot.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But the singles and the shit that blew up off of Graduation, it blew up bigger than what the Jones did on my My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. You know what I'm saying? It just really you think about 106 and Park days, man, when he was head to head with 50.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? All the videos, everything, the presentation, everything, how that whole thing was packaged up, bro. The Tokyo
Graduation for
artists.
sure made Kanye a superstar.
Yeah, bro.
I
That
get
shit was
all
it.
that. I just think that from top to bottom,
Daft Punk joint,
I think that from the top to bottom, it was My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was a better album, from top to bottom, in my opinion. Like Kanye was at its height during Graduation,
Right.
and for some people that could sway people in that direction, but I don't think there's any fat on the album. Like, for example, like I used to use, I know it's apples and oranges like Rick Ross. I think Teflon Don might have been his biggest album or whatever, but Deeper Than Rap had no fat. There might have been a better album. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, that's-
I mean,
Yeah, I see
we're
what-
playing semantics, but
Yeah.
either way, the Chronic moves on. What we got,
For sure.
what we got for the championship, baby?
Yeah, man, y'all see it. The national championship, bro. I'm loving this one. Dr. Dre the Chronic going up against Nas Illmatic.
Now this ain't no easy one.
It's not easy at all.
This is not
Crazy.
easy.
And this is, I think, a perfect matchup.
Yeah.
This is when I envisioned this whole bracket in the tournament. I figured these two would be at the final destination.
All right, so hold on. Before everybody get into their points, right? My general question for the group is: when you think about these two albums, is this just a matter of preference at this point, or
I
are
would
we
think so.
like?
Me, I take everything into account.
It's got to be a little bit of everything.
I take,
we
I
talking
take
about
Yeah.
impact,
preference,
Sonics.
Age,
how age-
value, all that.
Oh.
Yeah, like
how lyrics, everything.
yeah.
Okay.
Which
Everything.
which albums and which shit off the albums implemented other shit like movies, soundtracks of movies, commercials, goddamn everything, just
Okay.
every little detail. You know what I'm saying?
Who want to set it up?
I'll shut that bitch off.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with Chronic.
Okay.
I'm gonna Chronic. I feel like to the culture, just meant more. Might
Yeah.
mean more than Illmatic. To the culture, you gotta think. You gotta think when the Chronic came out, what it did to the world. Illmatic, when it came out, it was local. If you want to be honest, like I got an uncle who live in Cali. He's 48 years old. He never heard Illmatic like when it came out. When I Rule the World came out, that's when he went back and he heard. You know what I mean? Chronic was on the East Coast, West Coast, Midwest.
Down south.
That gang culture took over the world just because of the Chronic. They put the West Coast on top. Illmatic didn't put the East Coast on top.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Chronic put the West, and they ran and dominated up until probably when Pac died. So that's the reason it edged out Illmatic to me.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say the Chronic, like you said, what it did, like it took the West Coast and pushed it everywhere.
Yeah.
Illmatic is like you said, a flawless album, but it didn't push that sound everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I would go with the Chronic.
Damn.
I think it's a few unfair points y'all made about the sound being pushed. Like I feel like so Illmatic had a I'm going with Illmatic by the way. Illmatic had a sound that was already created. You know what I'm saying? That was the New York sound, so to speak.
You don't think
It was
Chronic
artists-
sound was already in NWA,
they
Ice-T and all
introduced-
that?
I mean, it was, but it was just old. It was like a vintage. You know, it was just kind of like outdated. He came with a whole fresh, you know what I'm saying, like from the beats.
The Chronic
everything.
sound was outdated.
No.
He said Illmatic sound. He said Ice-T and all that was outdated.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, NWA and all that stuff was a little outdated.
So to me, that'd be a plus to
When
Dre
Chronic-
if he introduced a whole new sound. That's kind of a plus for me.
I mean, yeah, he introduced a lot with that. But it's just kind of unfair to put a album, like if we speaking on sound, the sonics of each album. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of unfair to speak on Nas like being the loser in that category because the sound was already created.
And
You know
to
what I'm
add to
saying?
your
There was
point,
other artists.
especially you being a producer, Dre single-handedly produced the Chronic as a producer.
Right.
Nas had
Other producers.
other producers. So does that play a part in your mind? As far as the sound of it, having different styles of producers versus Dr. Dre overseeing everything,
Right.
touching everything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it definitely plays a part. I feel like it's harder to make a classic album such as Illmatic with so many different producers coming in.
Think so?
I think it's when you trying to.
I'm talking about them
you trying to
all-star
match-
producers though.
Yeah, but still, bro.
It's easier to
like,
lock in
you know
with
what I'm
one,
saying?
though.
Yeah, much easier to lock in one.
Okay.
You got one straight line across the whole album. You know, with the same producer doing this. You know, doing this, knowing what you want, and you like molding your raps to the sound of his beats, whatever.
I feel what y'all saying, but if we look at the bracket, every album that was on there, all the ones we consider classics, all had different producers. Most of the albums we consider classics, most of them don't have just one producer. So I would say it's probably harder to make a classic with just one producer. I mean, the evidence is there.
You got to think about the time period too, though,
I mean-
because the one producer thing in recent years just became a thing again.
Right.
I think at that time period, most of those albums, it was the thing to work with multiple
you're right.
producers. So Let's take that
Chronic
into consideration.
also introduced Snoop, man. That's the biggest rapper of all time. You can't.
Oh, for sure.
You gotta take that into
No,
consideration.
I definitely respect that. I honestly,
no
I
wrong
feel
answer
like
though.
Doggy Style should have went further in the joint for sure, just off of that. But yeah, I respect that point. But you know, I respect whoever picked Chronic. I mean, you can't go wrong with either way. But I'm gonna respectfully go with Illmatic.
Illmatic. You say Chronic
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
2 Chronics, one
Chronic and
Illmatic.
Illmatic, Philly Phil.
Oh man,
I wanna go last so bad.
yeah, I be going last. It don't matter.
No,
what
you ain't. You just picked. You,
Nah, he ain't
I
picked
never
yet.
picked.
Okay.
You ain't, I was going
We
to.
just be
but you had went.
debating
My
points.
fault, bro.
I mean, I'm going with the Chronic. I listen to it more. Listen to it more. I like the beats more. I like the way Dre samples more than I like. Really, did I like Premier the way Premier samples? So the style for me, like I said, I was raised on Parliament, so Parliament samples, the funk samples, like I said, all that kind of marinates for me, or resonates with me rather, more than maybe a jazz sample or another style of sample like that. Plus, bigger records. Now I mean,
For sure.
now I mean, like you said, brought in the whole coast.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, West Coast culture, Southern culture, it's car culture, and I'm going with Knocking the Whip. That Chronic Knocking the Whip more so than Illmatic does. Illmatic's a good album, but like I said, it's more headphones. Know what I mean, versus Knocking in the Whip. So I'm going with the Chronic.
Yeah, lyrically, I would have to state too. Lyrically, lyrics played a big part for me too. You know what I'm saying? So it,
For sure.
you know, Chronic was not it with the lyrics. I mean, you know, it's really never. West Coast has never really been a lyric heavy, you know, region anyway. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
I'm listening to all y'all points. Everybody made valid points. So to summarize this, I'm gonna have to really just base it off 2 things for me, outside of what everybody just said. For me, my upbringing in my household, I was a late bloomer with Nas. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I didn't get Nas at first. My older cousin, Tyrone, shout out to him. He was a big Nas fan. He was trying to put me on early. I won't get it. I caught on to Nas later. Once I did, I appreciate Nas music, especially Illmatic. But in my household, shout out Mama. Mom's was a big West Coast hip hop fan. So Dre, Snoop, especially Tupac. Mom's was bumping that in the house. So with all that being said, I still revisit both albums a lot to this day, but I'm gonna have to go with Chronic. I'm gonna have to go with Chronic
by
Pick
myself.
the right answer.
for
Congratulations.
I just think impact was bigger. To me, Nas Illmatic aged better, but impact wise, you know, for what it did for the culture, for the West Coast region, introducing Snoop Dogg, you know, one of the biggest superstar in the game, and you know, call it bias if you want, but I listen to Let Me Ride once a week. So Phil brought it up. Car culture, like, it gotta have that knock, and it, you know, that album has, I think the first 3 songs you just, you know, you don't skip nothing. So yeah, I'm gonna get an edge to Chronic, but this was not an easy.
Do we got
This was not an easy
motherfucking like some bells or something? We got a winner. The fucking winner. We
We're gonna clap it up for the Chronic. But this was a great Final Four to pick from. And especially that final round, them 2 albums, you can't go wrong, like Trey said. Like, do your due diligence, you know what I'm saying? Would you say, see, if you born in what?
If you born after 1989, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
If you haven't listened to these albums, please, like,
Shut the fuck up.
Bring an intelligent opinion to the table, man. Don't just get
If you
running
born
off at
after
the mouth.
1989, you can't have intelligent.
go in the comments. You know, first hit that notification bell, comment, share, subscribe. But go in those comments after you've listened to these albums and share with us your opinion. Share with us what you think.
Hit the DM. whoever personally got my number, you could text me. Just whatever. Just
So
give.
we
Just bring
saying the
feedback.
Chronic is the greatest album of all. Let's talk about what we saying.
The
here.
Chronic
It's the greatest album of all time.
in the PAU
Let's
Madness.
say this. And of the albums that made our tournament,
Yes.
because we human.
Is it something that was left out that you feel
Right.
we left
I
out?
mean, not off the top of my head right now. That's for another episode. But just the Jones that made the cut. You know what I'm saying? At the moment that we were, doing our picking.
Because we
or whatever.
did leave off Hammer Don't Stop by MC Hammer.
Yeah. So go ahead. What you was saying, Trey?
Anyway, man, listen. Champion is Dr. Dre the Chronic, man.
The greatest album of all time.
Yeah,
man.
bro. Greatest album out of all the albums that was in this tournament,
Fucking
man.
Chronic.
So
I'm not mad at that at all. I used to
definitely-
say that.
definitely give us y'all feedback, man. Let us know how y'all feel about that. If there's any albums that was left out of this tournament at all, feel free to, you know what I'm saying, throw it in the comment section.
I got two that was DM'd to me. We got the Wrong Bone Thugs and Harmony album.
Okay.
They said we was supposed to be
All the war.
no, creeping on something, whatever. That Bone, John the Homo, and
Yeah. You
what-
couldn't remember the title. I don't think it was
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
make the cut.
and the Twister. Which one we picked? Kamikaze. They said we should have went with Adrenaline Rush.
Adrenaline Rush. Okay, I get it.
Okay, that's cool.
But
But
Probably
they
wouldn't
would have won.
it wouldn't have made it that far anyway. So I
Right.
guess it
Neither
really
one would've
don't
won.
make a
I felt the
difference.
same thing with the 3-6 when we picked the Raw 3-6 album.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it's all
did get that.
it's
I-
all
I-
subjective.
It's all subjective.
Yeah.
But
for
if
sure.
y'all do like the PAU Madness tournament, you know what I'm saying? Let us know about that as well, because we'll be
sure.
happy to bring this back next season
With another
and just keep this,
yep.
fresh content, fresh concept behind it. So yeah, if y'all like this, we're gonna keep it going.
For sure.